Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Bad Dad from Hodl Hogs, and we are looking at the Bitcoin chart right now. Um, Looking at what the damage was from yesterday's sell-off in Bitcoin and the events that cascaded down onto the regular market, altcoin market. And you can see we're pretty much all in the red today. Um, Now, was this coming? I did not expect it to push down the way that it did. I did expect it to roll over, but not at a sharp turn down as this. But I did also mention that if we did come down and we broke this low, that we're going to come down to what I would call the last stand or the Alamo, right? So, as previously discussed in many of my other videos, I talk about confluence, multiple signs or multiple indicators that meet up at a single point that then results in different people buying or selling all at one time. And one of the indicators here that I have already up on the chart is this bottom trend line. You can see that there's a top trend line. It's looking like it's creating a falling wedge. But the point of confluence that I want to talk about is this bottom trend line. As we're coming down here, this was a quick sell-off that we closed up above it. But if you look at it and you connect most of the bottoms here, you see that it lines up like this right here. The other one is this range line right here. You can see that there is a, if you take it right here, you can see there is a range that starts from right around there, lines up in that area, right around here. The next one would be the fib line. So we got 1, 2, take this fib line and we throw that up. And we can see that we also have a fib line of the 786. Still has not hit exactly yet. Don't know if this is front run or if we're actually going to go down a little bit more to touch that. And if we do touch that, they're exactly almost, spot on. Do these two meet just directly underneath it, right? So could it come down? Sure, it can. If you're looking at the hourly, does it look like we're pushing up? No, it looks like we're rolling over. Looks like we're rolling over, maybe to come down and touch this. So in the daily chart, we may end up pushing down as low as that. So then you got 3 points of confluence there. Let's see, what else was there? I think that's pretty much it in that aspect, unless you're taking in the moon phase, which you're already pushed past through it. So we're like 3 days into it, and that didn't have much of a turnaround. But we've seen things take off shortly after the full moon opens up. But this is something that I only use as a another indicator of, not that I believe in it, but that other people believe in this. And if these other people are highly influential individuals with lots of money, and if they are trading off this chart, that may be a reason why there is some similarities here when you're looking at these full moons, that things do pump up to the top side, right? So then the last one that I found today was just looking around before I made this video. Just wanted to see what other indicators are there that could say, hey, this is it. Well, if you pull up the monthly chart and you're looking at the EMAs, right, exponential moving averages, we have the 20-day exponential moving average. Some people use the 21-day exponential moving average. Whatever. And as you can see, this monthly candle has come down to touch that almost the bottom of where all these other these lines line up. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 different indicators all lining up at one spot. So I call this the last stand. This is probably where, if anything is to occur, this is where it's going to happen, and this is where the upside should be. So as you saw on my thumbnail picture, there's lots of whales that I believe are buying this up, a lot of sharks, and a lot of little fish, nibbling away at these cheap token prices. And hope to God we're right. Otherwise, we'll be finding a new dip to go down and buy into, right? But looking at the Bitcoin chart again and the daily, but if you're looking at the RSI, I'm not getting any kind of positive indicators there. We've bounced off the bottom here on the bottom range, and here, unless Bitcoin does a complete 180 reversal into the upside, it looks like this has now entered into a bearish territory. So we'll see what happens with the end of the day. We'll look at how it reacts as we near the 786 line, if we haven't already hit it, according to some other people's charts, and how it's reacting. I'm looking at it at the 15-minute. I mean, we are now just kind of moving sideways, but you can see that there is some, you can look right here, there is some, what's it called? Divergence, right? You can see that we're making lower lows, but if you look down at the RSI over here, it's making higher highs. So from this point, now these points, all are making higher highs. So I expect this thing to start turning around. And if it does turn around, it'll turn around quickly, pretty quick. So then what caused all this, right? Well, we saw that the stock market went up yesterday, and then all of a sudden it came reversing back around pretty quick. But some things that are interesting on that stock market charts, like the Dow Jones Industrial, I mean, if you look at the RSI, like I mentioned back at Bitcoins, this one right here has now hit the bottom. And if you look historically, every time it's hit the bottom, it's turned around, right? I've mentioned this on the crypto charts, and at this point, crypto isn't acting on its own, but is definitely being influenced by the stock market. So even if it hits the bottom on the crypto chart, if this keeps falling down, crypto is just going to keep pushing down southwards, right? Until things change where these are no longer coupled with one another. But the second aspect of this is that we've also hit this 200-day EMA line, which hasn't been hit, or which has been hit once, but the previous time it hit it and went through it just barely was October 30th of 2020, and this is for the Dow Jones Industrial. If you go to the US 500, this is the first time it's hit it, along with hitting the bottom end of its RSI, since all the way back into 12 June 2020. So if there's a sign of reversal, this is it. This has got to be it, unless we're, stocks just plummeting through. I mean, imagine how many people have been buying, and they have a buy position based off of here. You can look how many times when it hits a 50-day EMA line, it gets bought up. You can see all throughout here, anytime it hits 50-day, and you can find that in the DJI as well. People use these as indicators or as buying opportunities. They put their buy orders right on it, and even on the 20-day EMAs, they just buy on the 20. As long as you're buying on the 20 and selling it when it breaks away from it, you're making money, right? So that's what these guys are doing. They just put their buy orders on it. So no different with the 200-day EMA as well. You can see it right here. That's a massive opportunity if someone was going to buy it. Otherwise, the other scenario is they either buy and they put their stop loss just right underneath it. So if this is if this breaks under like it did back here, game over. And you can even see that when it broke through this time, it kind of bounced off of it here, and the next day it fell through, came up, retested, and fell down, right? This is back in the COVID 2020 March, February timeframe right here. So some of the indicators I'm looking for of a potential to the downside is a sudden drop off in the US 10-year yield for the bonds. So if the bonds start getting bought up and the yields start falling down, I'd start wondering, why are all these individuals going from risk on to risk off so quickly? And then on top of that, why are they even going into bonds with inflation just blowing through the roof, right? It doesn't make any sense. It's almost like they've been trained to do certain things and they can't break from their methodical ways, I guess, right? So back to Kin, which is the token that I pretty much talk about. There were some impressive moves yesterday when the new day opened up at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shortly afterwards, we saw Kin start surging, and it made actually like a 2% gain here, and it introduced a lot of volume. Don't know where that came from, but this token is definitely oversold. It is so oversold. I mean, I can't wait for this market to turn around because I bet this one's going to rocket out of here. And somebody, some bigger whale has known this about this whole time and has just accumulated everything. I mean, shoot, he had an opportunity to sell here and then rebuy. He bought back here after selling up top, rebought here, sold here, and is doing it all over again. Going to make massive gains. I'm going to gain from here just to the 382 retrace from that high to here is another 400%. That's sick. It's disgusting. I'm excited. I'm excited to do this one day. Be able to sell here and buy here and not care one bit that, you know, if I still held on to 50% of my bag to take it all the way down here, because I'm still eating steak and lobsters and throwing peanut shells on the floor and someone's coming up to clean it up. Actually, that's not my personality, but you know what I mean. So while all these people are freaking out, you know, dumping what they've got into the market, I'm over here nibbling away and buying up everything I can. I'm putting in the extra time, extra hours of work that I can because I know this is just temporary. Eventually, this is all going to turn around. And I hope that anyone who's listening to me isn't just freaking out and just doing things off of an emotional act. Really think about what you're doing. But then again, I can't give you financial advice. Like I said, I don't know why I say this shit, but this is not financial advice. And everything that I say here is for entertainment purposes only. Maybe you get a laugh at, you know, how ridiculous this technical analysis stuff is, or laughing at me that I'm buying up the dip. I don't know. However you take it as entertainment, that's what I hope it is. And yeah, let's see where this market goes in the next couple of days, and we'll see about getting another update if we start moving up or pushing downwards. So until then, I'll be buying this dip. You can do whatever you want, but I'm not scared. Y'all take care.